So we're here at the inaugural ALSD International event here in London, and I'm joined by Andy Simons, founding director at KSS. So Andy, we've had a busy morning chatting about a whole plethora of things, and one of those was premium seating and how the premium experience is no longer just for those in the premium areas, but indeed across the whole general admissions areas too. Right. Can you perhaps expand on that for us?
Certainly. You're right, it's a dramatic shift. I mean, 5-10 years ago, it was two-dimensional. You had the high end, you were sitting down with your white linen, and you had the concourse. Now it's completely changed. The world has changed, and it's changing rapidly still. We're seeing absolute demand for quality, that's not changed, but the top end of that pyramid of top hospitality has got much, much more casual. And the whole of the general spectator, they want everything uplifted. We're sort of meeting in the middle. The lines are being blurred between what is a typical hospitality and what is a top-end hospitality. And it's all about casual grazing. They're eating when you want to eat before, eat middle, eat after. They want flexibility of what they eat. The fixed three-course dinner still exists. There's still a market for that, but everything's got a lot looser.
Yeah. And obviously, in your panel session, you were talking about how, there's the sort of hourglass between the UK and the absolutely. United States. Yeah. How are the trends translating from the United States, where obviously the ALSD is based, over to here in Europe?
Well, I'm glad you are here, because I think we're definitely seeing a continuing trend in the UK following US patterns. It happens in many aspects of our culture, but it does happen in sport particularly. The UK is that hourglass pinch point between the US trends and Europe. And Europe looks to us, particularly most of their leagues, for a lead in the way we promote and manage and create our product, and they look to follow that. And we inevitably can't help but be influenced by the US trends, and we see it in many of the current stadiums aspects of the way we're fitting them out, the way we're treating ticketing, the particular experience, the loges, for example, it's American, the tunnel clubs in American, the microbreweries, and these aspects are all American trends which are flowing through and are now becoming not quite mainstream, but definitely the trend of the moment.
And then finally, as obviously we were talking about in the panel session earlier, it was, sort of you guys, do you have a crystal ball? Because, you're taking a stadium or an arena and you get a brief, and then this might not be delivered for 5 or 10 years. So how do you know what the design trends are going to be?
Well, you can't be. You summed it up. The time spans of stadium deliveries are just huge, way outside any trend perception that we might have. So we are creating really, at the outset in stadia, a very large, perfectly flexible shell. Generous space standards, because no doubt everything, space standards expectations are growing, so generous spaces, well serviced, and to some extent that those shells are then purposed for the right trend within a year to 18 months of the stadium opening. We would capture the moment at that point, and the internal fit out is very much very close to the end of the stadium's opening.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for KSS projects. I know you've got a whole plethora on the board at the moment, and obviously the ALSD International saw some of your work last night at the 120 Club at Club Wembley. Yeah. So maybe, what other projects have you got sort of just finishing? I know there's Wimbledon, Twickenham.
Yes, just keep your eye on Twickenham, I think, at the moment, as each stadium opens, everything just leapfrogs itself. It had a trial weekend just this weekend past, but I think you'll really see it at the Autumn Internationals.
Thank you.